So here we have two new watches from arguably the best super cheap watch brand right now, and that being Addiesdive, if my camera will focus. And the name is not the best, but I have to say they have produced some of the very best sub 100 quid watches over the last few years. If you've never heard of them, they're one of these Chinese direct-to-consumer companies that you can basically just buy through AliExpress or through their own site. And because they're direct from China, some of these watches are really cheap and still pretty good. Now these ones are a new model that I saw pop up on their AliExpress store the other day, and frankly I couldn't resist because the watches look great, they were cheap, and they may have some originality to their design as well, which is always appreciated. So yeah, let's pop them open and I'll show you exactly what I bought. Now these cost me at the time £59 each, so it probably works out a tiny bit more than that with import fees, although I don't remember really paying anything extra for these except for what I already paid at checkout. So they're really not very expensive, and yeah, I just enjoyed both of them. Got the same watch, just in two colours, just to see how they stack up in the flesh. Wow. Now with these, I did what has become custom for me now with these AliExpress watches. I preemptively reverse image search the product images for both. It's the only semi-reliable way these days that you can tell if a watch is a carbon copy of an existing watch or not, because that's what you'll find on the likes of AliExpress. Vast majority of these watches are basically just rebadged carbon copies of existing models, which some people might be right with, but I've never really been into that myself. Now, these models definitely do look like a lot of vintage-inspired chronographs, no doubt about that, but my reverse image searches came up with basically nothing. Now, there were several watches that looked similar with a, similar color scheme and layout, but with the handset, the markers, and the unusual K-shape there, they definitely don't appear to be a direct carbon copy of anything else. Closest I could find were a couple of Tag Heuer models and then a couple of vintage models too. And I have to say, I think these look excellent. And a couple of other changes I've noticed too. I think the straps have improved. I don't remember many Addiesdive fabric straps feeling quite this good. These are surprisingly good, really. Now, there is a bit of inconsistency because you have a polished buckle and then brushed ancillaries there, but the actual fabric quality is quite good. And I have to say, if you're just after a simple vintage inspired chronograph like this, these look really good. Now I'll run through the full details in the moment, but I do know that these have a mecha quartz movement inside. There we go. They're powered by a Seiko VK64, I think. Yeah, Seiko VK64, which is a mecha quartz movement, so you get a fairly smooth sweep here on that chronograph hand, and then you can stop it. Quite nice feeling pushers too. And then you can reset it and it'll just snap instantly back to the top there. Now the only thing I will say with models like this is when the chronograph hand isn't running, as you can see here, the watch does look a bit dead, shall we say. I mean, the watch will still work and everything, but because there's no movement, it does look a little bit stale, I'd say. But, I mean, man, it really is quite an attractive watch for the price. And spec-wise, this really stomps the vast majority of high street watches, as usual with Addiesdive. Not only have you got that mecha quartz movement inside, which is typically a step up already, but you've got... no way! You've got case technology. You have... lasagna and polishing case technology. I mean, that has to be groundbreaking. I mean, how they've fitted a pasta dish inside this, I will never know. I'll have to find out how to extract that one later. But we do have a 316L stainless steel case, which again is pretty nicely finished. I believe this is taken from another one of their chronographs that they already make, which was another super bargain option too. That one was based on an old Patek Philippe model, I think, from like the 1950s or something. Whereas this one is from a slightly later time period. But the case does appear to be reused for this model. It is quite nice and thin though. We have a domed crystal there, a really domed crystal actually. Now they're saying this is K1 mineral glass. Now K1 is a type of hardened mineral crystal, and it does seem to have an anti-reflective coating too. You can see that blue, almost purplish hue to the crystal there, suggests we've got some anti-reflective coating, and the visuals on both are pretty good. Especially like the look of this one on the right actually. I was originally just going to order the one on the left. I thought I'd check this one out just to see if it held up in the flesh. And yeah, this might actually be the more attractive of the two. It's also advertising BGW9 loom, so we can check that at the end. Not sure whether that's just on the hands or whether it's on the markers as well. It also says that you can swim in this too. 100 meters of water resistance. Got a screw back there with the dreadful Addiesdive logo. Luckily, the one used on the dial is by far the more suitable of the two. It's the text version with that cursive font. I'll show you it here. Not the best typeface in the world, but a heck of a lot better than the typical Addiesdive font. Crown is just push-pull here, I assume. Yep. But they are claiming 100 meters of water resistance. I'll give you a quick close-up of both of the dials here. They are pretty attractive. Does look like a lot of other watches. It's a pretty commonly used layout, even among the bigger brands on the lower end of the price spectrum. Loads of them do use designs like this, but not many with these specs at this price, and that are executed quite this well. No worries about using a brass case here or anything like that. And the strap, yeah, strap's really good for a watch at this price. Here's a closer look at the turquoise looking one. Really didn't think this combination would work, but quite like it. Not 100% sure the strap goes with this watch, although I do quite like the strap in its own right. Just not sure it's perhaps the best pairing here. And there we go with the hand on that one. Both of these subdials are actually ringed and textured too. Not sure you can see that there. I'll try and crop in. But they are actually fully detailed subdials. Straight away, you know, definitely among the best super budget chronographs I've seen, no doubt. Case finishing is fair as well. It's pretty decent, especially for such a cheap watch. Got brushed flanks and then a bunch of polishing up top. Let's get you the exact sizes on this new model. 38 on the dot there. Lug to lug is 46 on the dot again. And thickness with the crystal, which is fairly domed, 12.7. You can see there it does take up a fair portion of it. Excluding that crystal, it'll be more in the ballpark of 10 millimeters. Now this watch does come in one other color as well, but I think these two are the real standout options, at least at present. And man, I think that's actually an insanely good looking watch for £59. Now, I know you guys who watch my channels that are from the US, you've mentioned to me recently that my pricing is off, but unfortunately that's because of your recent added tariffs. So you will end up paying a bit more for these AliExpress watches. Us Europeans have unfortunately had to have higher prices than you guys for years, and it's flipped the script a bit recently. But I mean, even at a slightly higher price, this is still a decent watch, really is. Much better than most 100 quid watches from a lot of the cheaper UK based brands like Seconda, for instance. This, even at a higher price, would still compete with the likes of Accurist here in the UK, who sadly don't seem to be releasing an awful lot of watches recently. It's just dried up from them. But yeah, this model really, really nice here. Let's try that other more colourful one, eh? Now on the website they call this one blue, and yeah, kind of more leaning towards blue, but certainly a bit of green in there too. But here's a look at this piece. Not bad looking either. You can see what I mean about the strap. I mean, the quality itself is actually quite good. And as always with these AliExpress videos, if I can find any relevant discount codes for this item, I'll also put it in the video description. So yeah, you might be able to get this one for even less. There's a chance you could get this for under 50 quid, which would be ridiculous. And we'll just reset that there. The only tiny nitpick I've noticed with this one is that the chronograph hand, when you reset it, is just a fraction off to the left there, as you can see. It's not bad, but yeah, it's not quite perfect, but I wouldn't expect perfection for 50 quid. With that double pass strap, it's also still not super thick. Here's a look at how it wears there. Do have a bit of gaps under the lugs though, as a result of that, as you can see. Yeah, really cool budget chronograph option, and actually a pretty attractive design. Looks quite a bit like some of the undone chronograph watches as well. I remember they have some models that look a bit like this, as do Gekota, who are the brand from Watch Gecko. I might like this one even better than the last one from Addiesdive. We'll give them a quick loom test side by side just to see if that holds up as well. Addiesdive luminescence has always been pretty good good actually, especially with some of the slightly more expensive automatic models. We had one that was even better than Rolex, no joke. Let's see what these have got to offer. Initial brightness is very good there. Only very slim pieces of lume, but you can definitely see them clearly. And yeah, while conditions aren't the darkest in this room, it doesn't seem to have faded that much at all. I have to say I'm quite impressed with that, especially at this price. So yeah, really strong offering here, the AD2095 from Addiesdive. It's linked below. Really, not much to complain about. I'll probably give this a try out on a couple of two-piece bands, see if it'll fit me any better. It does also have drilled lugs there, so you can change out them spring bars pretty easily too.